Okay, folks, it's a really bright, sunny day. Oh, I forgot to restart this phone. Oh, I think I did restart it actually because I had problems with glitching out on my videos when I moved the camera. I don't know if that's fixed the problem this time. But anyway, we've got something interesting. It's a bit of a throwback, another throwback one. Going to leave it on 100. Yeah, they say it's going to get to 32 degrees here in old Sydney town. So it's going to be very hot, which is not going to be terribly nice, but at least I'm indoors. I've got my fan going in my lounge room. Hopefully that'll cool things down for the rest of the place while I'm in here. I think the fan has taken the edge off it. It's not too hot in here, even though we're not near the fan. Anyway, let's see what this is. It is Happy Birthday, Birthday Girl. I was a birthday girl on the 1st of January this year, of course, and I basically, turned 50, but I'm not with my partner Luigi, so I'm very lonely. So I'm just, using this, and I'm just remembering, commiserating my lonely 50th birthday. Really miss my partner Luigi, but I'm hoping to get in touch with him at some stage soon, hopefully, once I get on the 6 o'clock news with this love story. And that's come up looking quite interesting. I quite like the shape, but I don't like the red. The red looks really wishy-washy and yucky, which I really hate. I'm going to do another one without the fucking red. The red looks shithouse. Don't know why it turned out so crap. So we're just going to switch that one off and maybe change the hue as well. Maybe not the hue, maybe we'll make it more, take out some of the blue and see what happens. Take out the depression, because I feel depressed, and when I think of blue I think of depression and I think of sadness, and I'm not with my partner Luigi. I feel sad without him and depressed often. So I'm really missing my partner. Yeah, it looks too green. I don't like the green with that. Maybe I could change it perhaps, but it looks like a nice shape. I do not like the way that's orange. I do wonder if maybe switching the colour back in reverse will make it look better. See what we can do with it, folks. But I'm really lonely without my partner, and I really need to get in touch with him. I really wish I could be with him instead of being alone. I get really lonely without my partner, and it really can get a bit depressing, not being with someone that you care about, that you want to talk to someone and you have no one to talk to. You know, I come home and I spend my nights alone. You could say I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I don't have an actual social network. I do have people who look after me as a person who is disabled. I do have some care workers, but they're not exactly what you'd call, friends. They're doing their job. They're doing their profession. However nice most of them are or have been, it's not the same as having a friend. But I've never had much. I've been lonely most of my life, pretty much, in some way, shape or form. Being away, I found out that Luigi's the person who I need to fill the gap where my loneliness happens. And that's come up looking a bit too similar to the original, even though we've got an interesting, the black area. I do wonder, looks a bit different, but it looks much the same, much of a muchness. Maybe we could utilise this as a negative image again. I'm going to just take out these. But I'm really missing Luigi, and I'm trying to get on the 6 o'clock news on Channel 9, and I'm really struggling to get my material noticed by them. They don't seem to care. They don't seem to have any due respect for my work, that I'm lonely, that I'm really lonely and I'm really desolate without my partner Luigi, and they don't seem to care. I just get the feeling they don't care about me as a person, or about me even as a story. They don't want my story. It feels like they don't care, like they don't give a flying fuck about me, like they want me to drown, they want me to go down under. They don't like me. I get the feeling they just don't like me, folks. I just get that feeling that I'm going to make this into a marbled piece, maybe. But I really get so impatient and fucking cranky at Channel 9. You know, I really don't feel like they give a flying fuck about me. And that's come up looking quite interesting. Again, it looks a bit too orange, but I do like the colour here. I do wonder, so I'm going to just make it a still piece using that colour scheme. Yeah, but really I get so lonely, and I really need Channel 9 to help me out of this. I need them to help bring my stuff to the airwaves. It's also not just about Luigi and I. It's about getting recognised as an artist and making a better living on being an artist than being on Centrelink. I don't really want to be a burden on the taxpayer anymore, because I'm unable to support myself as a person living with disability. When I was born, I had a cord around my neck and I came out breech, and that would have stopped the oxygen from getting to my brain, and I had all these problems at school with learning and trying to get information in and retain it, and none of the teachers picked up on it. And it's only been me in recent years that has actually noticed this problem, and it's really been a problem for me, because even though I'm also smart, I'm a person who also believe that I have also got high functioning autism, which is I believe is responsible for the high functioning parts of my brain. And both these conditions have basically flown under the radar, which means I get the blame for what they cause, because they think it's me, it's my problem, it's because of my attitude. For example, with the learning problems I have, or the brain damage, basically I get the blame for my learning deficiency, and it's like it's all my fault, and they put the responsibility onto me, and it really is quite hurtful and quite upsetting. You go to school and you keep getting into trouble for not wanting to learn. No, it's like, fuck me dead. I can't fucking learn, you bitches. I fucking have a problem. It hasn't been diagnosed. I know it hasn't been diagnosed, but fuck me dead. And I forgot to put this on a darker setting. That's why it was all wishy-washy. But basically, I had problems learning for a reason, you know, and I basically, these bitches just keep pushing me, and I keep getting bad school reports, and I get so fucking scared of getting into trouble. I don't show my parents my school reports. I keep hiding my school reports, especially in high school. And it was really humiliating when, I got teased, I got bullied, because my high-functioning autism made me a bit odd, and I couldn't function. But I do consider the high-functioning autism, again, like the brain damage, it hasn't been actually diagnosed. It hasn't been formally diagnosed, but basically I've had to wear the blame for these disabilities. I've had to wear the fucking blame because there was no fucking diagnosis, no way these fuckwits at school could properly explain what was happening with me. And I just used to I felt like I've just gotten the fucking blame for it all, And I was too afraid to let my parents go to the parent-teacher nights at high school. I didn't want the teachers telling me, she's too obsessed with her photocopiers and shit like that. As it was, my family was against my photocopying activities anyway, to start with, even without the school reporting on me about it, to them about it. So, it's really been quite a hair-raising roller coaster ride going to school. School was never fun. I never felt fun. And the teasing and the bullying was just too much for me, folks. It's a wonder I never committed suicide. It's a wonder I didn't have suicidal ideations. It was that bad. And, school was horrible, folks. Fucking awful. And yet, now I have to capitalise on this because this is my talent. This is what I'm good at. Fortunately, I'm no longer in school. I don't have to put up with all this bullshit that the school has put upon me. But basically, I still wear the scars. Now, that looks interesting. I think we could utilise that. But basically, I just had to wear the scars of this shit. This shit that I copped at school was just too much. And I do think this is probably not quite the colour I want. Or maybe I could enlarge this out. But it really hurt me, folks, that I had to perform way above what I was able to. And I believe it was partly the bullies that made me reject Luigi, because they made me feel so rotten about myself. And I believed them. And those fuckwits have won the fucking fight. It's like the fights that I used to get into occasionally when the bitches used to want to make me so angry that I ended up retaliating violently. And they wanted it. And they got what they fucking want when they hit me physically. They trigger me into such a rage that I end up hitting them back even harder most of the time. And these bitches end up enjoying themselves, all the ones watching, looking on. And it's usually the boys that pick the fights. And these bitches just kept at me and at me and at me all day, anywhere, any time I was around people, there was always some assholes bullying and teasing. And I really, did I deserve that, folks? Did I really deserve that shit? Did I fucking do something so fucking morally and wrong that I deserve to be treated with such contempt? And these bitches are going to pay the price, because one day if I become a celebrity, I hope they fucking want to grovel to me, but they can't, because they know that they're going to, I have to forgive them though. That's the only thing, folks. Because even my brother and my father are also bullies and teasers, especially my dad. And my brother can be quite nasty as well. And they were always against my photocopying activities, for the most part. And it was hard enough dealing with them, but I didn't want to get the school teachers talking about what I'm interested in too much, because they'd end up being harder on me, and I'll end up being banned from photocopying, which I was. I was banned by my whole family on Wednesday, the 16th of September 1987. I won't ever forget that day, that evening. So, I've had lots of problems and I've had to deal with this shit, and now I have to fucking strut my stuff now and try to get this stuff to go to air on the 6 o'clock news. And I'm hoping that my dad and my brother will apologise on the news for what they did, and then I have to make a public forgiveness statement, because forgiveness is important. It's not just about punishing the assholes and teaching them a lesson, should I say, but basically it's about having to forgive and to do it openly. That's the challenge. But anyway, enough of that. I think we're nearly finished our demo. I think we've got nice colours, including that emerald green, and that's come up looking quite a treat. I think we can now call this demo quits.